So it's very interesting. I think, you put your finger on the pulse. I mean, the reason Kishida resigned is because he's not popular. And the reason, the number one job that the new Prime Minister Ishiba, has to do is to convince that he can actually be popular, that he can actually win elections, which means that economic policy, financial policy, monetary policy is going to be very much on autopilot, driven much more by the bureaucrats rather than by the Prime Minister.
Yes, but we did see a bit of a whiplash in terms of the market reaction. But how much do you think this result of an Ishiba government changes the strong international interest in terms of Japanese markets?
There obviously was a big knee jerk. I don't think that the Buy Japan story, from a global perspective, is going to come to an end. And that's because, let's focus, this Buy Japan story is driven by corporate action. It's not by monetary policy, not by fiscal policy. It is indeed individual corporate leaders in Japan having woken up, doing M&A activity, doing not just share buybacks, but also new investments into the future. Nippon Steel wanting to buy America Steel. There is a new spring. There is a new animal spirit in corporate Japan. And that's what makes Japan exciting for an investor.
Jesper, in the medium to longer term, what are the implications of Ishiba's call for the creation of an Asian NATO, something which undoubtedly would draw the ire of Beijing, and even a senior US official has called a hasty idea?
Well, remember we talked about Ishiba being a maverick who has his own opinions. And anybody who does serious security and defense policy, I mean, an Asian NATO de facto already exists with the establishment of the Quad. That happened and has been consolidated and has been elevated. So, Mr. Ishiba sometimes comes across like a passionate amateur who has these grand sounding ideas that unfortunately are not really based on reality and sound analysis. And most importantly, they are based on his own opinion rather than doing the nemawashi, building the consensus beforehand. Now that he's the prime minister, he's going to show that he can build the consensus.